Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live and back at it again, folks. Welcome to the Wrestling for Life Network as we bring you our Saturday night main event. Returning to WWE preview show. It's going to be a fun one here tonight. Me and these two pretty faces are going to dive into all the action, all the fun stuff, all the twists and turns heading into Saturday night main event and the return of this classic show. It's going to be a fun one here tonight, folks. Get in that chat, click all the buttons, be a friend, tell a friend, but don't forget to strap in, strap on, grab your snacks, grab your feel good, and let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We are back at it again, folks. Like I said, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. This is another live show, and we are ready to go as we dive into Saturday Night Main Event. Like I said, the preview and predictions from me and these guys, we're going to dive into all of it here tonight. Make sure you get in that chat. Make sure you let your voice be heard. We will ask you what you think is going to happen as well, but we're going to break this one down, the potential stories, outcomes, and everything else in between. Going to be a fun one here on the channel, folks. But without further ado, I will remind you, I am Mr. Every Night KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube. That is Ringsider Anthony, and that is Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its tag stream trios champions of the world. The chapeau that runs the show, Ringsider Anthony, the Every Night Delight KJ White. I'm Big Nick, and I feel like I need to get the Jesse Ventura voice a little bit early out of the way now here, just so we can all address that he's going to be there.
Right. How you doing, Anthony? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm ready for this exciting weekend of wrestling. We got Saturday night main event. We got some 5 matches on the card. So I think this is gonna be a good weekend.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. And again, we don't know what else is gonna transpire tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll be here live for all of it. It's gonna be a fun one, folks. Remember, go check out all our stuff. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so. Make sure you join the family, join the fun, and be a part of the Wrestling for Life Network. Nick going all the way back to childhood with a little bit of Cheerios in the intro.
Yeah. I don't know where that came through, but yeah, it happened. Chip.
Now, with all that being said, Saturday night, the return of Saturday Night Main Event, and I think they've done a good job of hyping it up, the vibe, the feel, the nostalgia, all the fun stuff, including one Jesse Ventura.
Right.
So how you guys feeling about this one?
I'm digging it a lot. If it's very much that nostalgia feel, especially we're all in that same kind of age group a bit. I think Anthony's a bit younger, but it scratches that nostalgia itch and everything. And this is what a lot of us as kids and everything and grew up watching, and even a whole generation is now going to get to learn and go through the whole history of Saturday Night Main Events and all the great matches and stuff that they did on those.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think the first Saturday night main event that I ever watched was 2005, 2006. I feel like Trish Stratus and Jeff Hardy was on the card. I can't remember exactly, but I remember watching it back in the day, in the early 2000s. So I'm excited that it's back. Just like Nick said, a new generation get to see, what some of us grew up with. And it seems like it's going to continue because the next one is literally smack dab in January. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, January 25th, that should be fun as well. I believe it's from Texas. Texas, a hot spot for wrestling lately.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that as well. But the nostalgia, the vibe, the feel, the old music, old graphics, old announcers. It's going to be really cool. I want to see what other things come with this 2-hour show. And I mean, again, if you're going to do it right. It's the same thing we talked about with other companies. If you have a special show, make it special. Don't just mail it in.
Yeah, and doing this on a Saturday like a PLE and everything. And I guess Jesse's not the only legend that they're going to have there as well. Like, I'm sure that they're going to probably have a few other names. I don't want to speculate because I really don't want Hogan to show up, but I think he might. But yeah.
Rumors.
Right.
Teddy Long's supposed to be in the building. That will be interesting.
Oh.
We're probably going to get the Undertaker then.
Gonna have an impromptu tag team match.
Right, you go a one-on-one with the Undertaker.
But I mean, again, a lot of excitement around this one. Hope it delivers. It looks like it's going to 3 title matches, a mini grudge match, and of course, a match to be determined, but we will crown a new champion at Saturday Night Main Event as well. So that's pretty cool. But folks, we will dive into these. By all means, get your opinions felt. I guess we can quickly say hello to the people that jumped in, but Clay's here. Can't wait for the weekend. Cherokee George, Ken, Cherokee again. But who's on the card? We'll get into the card. We will get into the card. Wrestling Prod, welcome back. Boston, always a pleasure, of course. There you go. You're gonna beat them later, so
I'll tell you about a woodshed.
Domestic be going down. Bradley, welcome back. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Good to see you, sir. The rest of probably got you. Jason Ryan, Chris Leclerc. Feel like we haven't seen that name in a while. ABJ. Yeah, the snow can go away anytime now. What's up? 316 Unbroken. Jonathan. MGB, the Knee Pad Patrol is here. I guess it would be a good chance to remind everybody the predictions title will be on the line Saturday. That will be fun as well. Get in there, get your predictions. The title was just won last weekend. On the line again Saturday.
Right.
But Bradley, got you. Vance, welcome back. Welcome back.
It feels like we've very much been, I'll say this just quickly, of like been in like an every weekend pay-per-view kind of mode lately, it feels.
Yeah.
It's nonstop over the past. It feels like two months. That's like every weekend there's something going on in wrestling.
Right.
We've still got World's End coming up after this, and then we're right into Royal Rumble season again.
I mean, yeah, it's a crazy time to be a wrestling fan, and I mean, again, even with just the WWE alone, like I know you mentioned AEW's World End. Like last year, it'll be the last thing we do in 2025 as far as pay-per-views go. But right back at it, New Year's Eve. Well, I know it's a specialty show. Royal Rumble season. We're building towards WrestleMania. Lots of questions, transfer windows, Netflix, which feels like a bonus little, at least that debut episode feels pay-per-view-ish. So yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy to be a fan in 2025. And of course, we cannot forget TNA coming back with Genesis in January. They got a pay-per-view tomorrow. We will be here for that. Try and keep an eye on it. But yeah, I mean, all the companies are doing stuff. And even TNA booking bigger buildings, which is getting people talking.
Yeah, with TNA with these big arenas, I'm shocked. Like they're going heavy next year. And I just found out that one of the tapings that's in Minnesota, I want to believe it is like they're in an arena that Collision is going to be in this coming weekend. So it's like they're really taking it big next year. So I don't know what they have up their sleeve, but I'm not trying to judge them because it's still, early, but we'll see what, numbers bring next year.
Absolutely. But yeah, with this card, what was announced on Monday, it surprised us. Drew McIntyre is back, and Sami's got beef. He blew his head up the 2 weeks ago. This week, the challenge is laid out. It's official. Sami, Drew McIntyre, guys, how do you feel about this one?
Go ahead, Anthony.
If Drew McIntyre does not win, I think we're gonna have to rethink what's going on with Drew McIntyre. This man has taken a year worth of losses, basically, right? Like WrestleMania, he screwed himself out of the world title, and then Money in the Bank, he didn't win that, or he did win that. He tried to cash in, it was failed. Then he lost the entire feud to CM Punk. So, like, can he end the year on a win? Or is he going to take 2024 as like the biggest loss in his career? I don't know.
But does Sami need a win, though? Sami's been, just came back as Sami Uso and everything. Sami's been really on the sidelines, not doing a whole lot of things. He's in the Bloodline storyline that was just the main event of Survivor Series, is arguably the biggest thing in the company. Now, granted, Drew's going to come back, and we think that he's going to get a shot, hopefully at Gunther, or potentially with the transfer portal and everything like that, be like the main guy on SmackDown. So could go either way. To play devil's advocate.
Listen, everybody knows I'm a big advocate for Sami Zayn. I'm not going to lie about that. But I think Sami's had an outstanding 2025. He has come under a couple things, but did a really good job helping certain guys get over. Big fan of his year, but for my money, Drew needs it more. Sami can fall back on being Sami, the lovable underdog. Sami can lean back on the bloodline stuff. Drew is like an island unto himself. And sure enough, like I know he prayed for this and it happened, but wins haven't been the thing that he prayed for, apparently.
I think if we put Drew's career in 2024 and Sami's career side by side, I think Sami had the better year because he beat Gunther and then he held that IC title for a good bit. And then after that, he kind of was, I don't want to use the term lost in the shuffle because he was clearly there, but he wasn't taking much wins there. And then he had the small feud with Gunther for the world title. And then he found his way back to Roman Reigns and the OG bloodline. So Sami has had, in a way, a complete year, but Drew kind of been lacking a little bit, but it's all his fault. And I'm still going to say that, like, all he had to do was take that title at WrestleMania and walk to the back. But then he tried to seduce CM Punk by crawling on the table, and then he got cashed in and lost the title.
How are you trying to make Drew McIntyre Snitsky now with "It's not my fault"? It's not my fault. He's gonna claim more a baby now or something. But no, I was just trying to play a bit of devil's advocate. I do think Drew wins this, and like I said, of Drew's probably going to be next in line for Gunther, or like I said, with the transfer portal, there's rumors that with people going to Raw, he'll move over to SmackDown and be the top guy there.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think he's cemented in the top guy position. I think he's definitely going to be whatever show he's on. He's going to be in that main event mix, and I think Sami's a great guy to put him over, continue, it's easy to be a heel against Sami, even though he doesn't like him. Tough break. But ultimately, I think that we're going to get a hell of a match between these two. And ultimately, I do think this is Drew's to win. Maybe he does transfer over, but it's just, you got to keep him up in that upper echelon. Like if Sami beats him, now we're talking about Sami getting a title shot at Gunther again. Like, nah, probably not.
Well, and then like Anthony has been saying, of where do you pick up the pieces then at this point? He's been losing since WrestleMania 40 pretty much consistently. He just lost the Punk to where he split his goddamn skull open. So he needs a win or two here. He needs some momentum in the right way.
Yeah, coming off Hell in the Cell with Punk, which was a hell of a performance, but he came up short. He needs this win.
Right. Well, I like this real quick from Derek. If I'm sure you like this, KJ. If Derek says Gallus joins Drew on SmackDown,
Gallus might be your next tag champion.
Yeah,
could be.
Right. How long can Fraxium and hold it together and keep their shit together well enough that they don't lose those belts? They've been hanging on by a thread.
Right. Yeah, but would they have the NXT belts up on the main roster then?
No, I don't know. I don't think they're coming up like that.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, would they be awesome with Drew? Yes, but I think they might win the tag titles.
Fair enough.
If they lose the tag titles, call them up. Let's go. We're done.
Well, that whole transfer portal thing is they've said that there's like several talent within the end of 2024, 2025 that will be moving up from NXT to the main roster. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
87% of the chat is going for Drew McIntyre, so a heavy favorite. Again, it makes sense. The underdog from the underground is never really the guy that's going to get the votes. So we'll see. It should be a fun match. Anyone think like, we don't care? Like this one should be fun to watch.
Oh no, Sami's great at selling and being an under guy and everything like that, and he'll bounce around and put Drew over solid.
Yeah, I'm excited for this match. I don't have any doubts that this match is going to be less than great. I like how they kind of built this story up rather quickly because like he came out and attacked Sami Zayn, and I was even confused. I'm like, why are you attacking Sami Zayn? And then they explained it the following week. So it's perfect setup, and I think this will be good.
Absolutely.
100%. Well, this next match on the card is interesting because we don't even really know who's going to be in it, but we can discuss the potential matchups, but also out of these four women, who leaves Saturday Night Main Event as your first ever women's U.S. champion?
I have answers for both. Chelsea Green leaves as your first ever U.S. women's champion, and I think she goes over Mia Yim Michin to do it. I think Chelsea beats Bailey, Misha beats Tiffany, Bob's your uncle, Chelsea wins it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with you with Chelsea winning. I think Chelsea has proved herself time and time again that she can go with the best of them. So I see Chelsea winning it, but I personally have this strong feeling that Bailey is going to be in the finals. I don't know. I feel like I feel like um that she could be the one to win because she's that established star, right? Out of the four of them, she's that established star, and maybe they want somebody established to win the title the first time. Me personally, I wouldn't put it on Bailey. I would give it to someone like Chelsea Green or Meechin because I feel like they both proved themselves time and time again, like I just said. But I have this weird feeling that they're gonna give it to Bailey on Saturday. So I see the finals going Bailey and Chelsea.
And it's funny that you say that because we have over the last week or so kind of come around on this idea that Natty could win the IC title as just like you're as a sign of respect. No one else will be the first one, even if it's not a long run. It's just like a nod to her kind of idea. But they could potentially do the same thing with Bailey. You are one of our best superstars over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever you want to call it. As a thank you, and again, to put kind of a respect on that belt right away, Bailey could get it for that reason.
See, I don't think it's the same if Bailey gets it as it is if with Natty. With Natty, it feels more of like a you deserve it. It's more that kind of award of we know you're on the back nine, probably on the 16th, 17th hole. So not saying that with Chelsea, but saying that with Natty. That so you got this one. You can be the first one, even if it's not a long run, like you said. Bailey's been a former world champion recently and everything.
True.
So I think she's still fine. I would say if they give it to Bailey, it's because they want to have an established name, somebody who's already been a main event level talent with that belt to start it off, like Seth winning the world heavyweight.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was gonna say though, Anthony, I don't think that the final could be it can't be Tiffany or Bailey and Chelsea because they face each other on SmackDown. So it would have to be Bailey versus Miriam or Tiffany.
I was going by the picture because I thought I was looking at like Bailey and Meechin going at it tomorrow.
No, it makes sense.
That's my bad.
Babyface, heel.
You got
that
it.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
I don't. Out of all three, or sorry, all four, the three for me is Mission, Bailey, Chelsea. I don't think Tiffany gets a sniff of the U.S. title right now. I don't love the idea. Like, does she win the U.S. title and have Bo? Like,
yeah, no. So that she's Money in the Bank champ, no, or holds the briefcase, no. She's got world title aspirations.
Yeah,
and that makes more sense,
right? Anyone think that Meechin could be the one that actually ends up winning this? She's still a vet. She's still that again. I think would be much more in line a bit like the Natty thing, maybe a little bit with like how Chelsea's really gotten herself over with it. But if they put the belt on Meechin, that's more of like a, hey, thank you for all that you've done. I'm sorry about what the New Day did to your brother-in-law, Big E. There you go.
Well, I mean, again, at the end of the day, I think that Mission kind of has that feel where we talked about almost like Seth Rollins. Like you could give it to her. She's, and have her actively defend that belt a lot, right? Like, and really let her build on it. Some would argue that Chelsea doesn't need the title. Chelsea's fine being Chelsea a little, the one that gets close, but always finds a way to kind of mess it up. I like the idea that Mission could be a bit of the Sol Ruka of this group, going back to Iron Survivor.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a pretty solid comparable.
Right.
I mean, and then when it comes to Chelsea, like you're not wrong because Chelsea even said it herself. Like she doesn't care about wins and losses. She just wants to entertain people. So and she had that similar character when she was in Impact. Like she would get there or almost get there and then not win it. So she can always play that role very well. And earlier this year they had the Meechin and Chelsea rivalry. So maybe this is Meechin's moment. I don't know.
Is it going to be interesting, though, when the very clear and obvious heel in this situation outside of Tiffany gets the win and gets a loud pop, gets a babyface reaction to her winning and everything like that? Because I think she's that over with the fans and everything, even though she is the plucky loser that still will take it on the chin, get thrown in a dumpster, and keeps on ticking and everything. Like, I think people the fans themselves almost kind of want to see her win it, just to have that one kind of moment.
Yeah, they're still going to boo her when she's acting nuts, but we've all kind of watched enough that we appreciate what she's done. She's gone into dumpsters. She took like the 10-second Royal Rumble spot. Like, she's been a trooper, and she's done extremely well. When they were going through that tag team curse, and everybody was either throwing those belts back at the ownership and walking out or getting hurt. It was, they could have done the same with Chelsea, but Chelsea went online and basically threw herself out there of like, no, I'm going to make these belts matter. And then it just spiraled into an amazing 2024 for Chelsea.
That's why I think when she does win it, and I say when she does win it, that there's going to be an actual big, loud pop reaction, everything. We'll go back to booing her probably on Monday, Friday, what have yous and everything. But for Saturday, at that moment when she wins it, she's going to be the baby face of the night.
Yeah, could be. Not far off at all. Mission makes no sense, in my opinion. She's kind of irrelevant. I feel she needs a better build to put the title over. Yeah, but she's been around for a hot minute, so this would be her push, would it not? Like, this is the moment you kind of make her in this moment because she finds a way to beat Bayley. She takes down a Chelsea Green, saying the final. The other way around. She beats Tiffany and Chelsea Green. I believe my own graphic again.
There we go.
But yeah, I think there's this is like could be a making moment for Mission, and then especially when she goes on to defend it.
I think you really nailed it. Of that, she'll keep up. Like, she'll be the work rate champion out of all of them and everything. Of that, she'll be defending it every week and everything, and that'll eventually get her and the belt over. Is her defending it, her having good matches and everything. Like, say next week she's got to defend it against Bayley, and then the next week after that she defends it against Bianca or Naomi or something like that. If she goes through and kind of goes through a murderer's row, putting it over.
Yeah, that's true. Because if you give it to Chelsea, and I'm not knocking Chelsea, but it's her character standpoint, she'll be the one to not want to defend it because she is the champion. Her character is like, I don't have to do this. I'm the champion. So I do get both ways.
Chicken shit heel, 100%. So she'd be the one trying to get out of it as much as you'd have to go through Piper Niven to get to Chelsea.
Oh,
right.
And I think in my perfect world, I think the way this plays out is Chelsea finds a way to steal this, become the first ever U.S. champion, and you get that pop moment that you talked about, Nick, and then let Mission chase. Like, I know Boston kind of made the point that maybe she hasn't felt that relevant, and maybe the tournament feels too quick to kind of just drop it on her. But maybe if she chases Chelsea until Rumble or whatever, and then she finally gets that win. Chelsea doesn't need a long run, but it would be fun to watch. She'd be irritating as shit as champion. Like, she will.
Right. And that's how you would build Mia up with that. I still have a hard time calling her Mission, but that's how you'd still build Mia up and everything, is have her be the chase. And I think even if you view her as irrelevant, then her at least being in the finals and everything, it kind of starts to get her over and puts her very much on that solidified spot.
Yeah. Let's see what the chat said. Chelsea 61%, Mission 11, Bayley 22, and Tiffany 5. So the chat kind of feels the way we feel.
Yeah.
Are we all officially taking Chelsea?
I think Anthony took Bayley.
I'm gonna take Chelsea.
Oh, you some bitch. Made me a liar before I could even finish the sentence.
Right. All right. So we got new merch, by the way, folks. Go check out the new merch. Get your Wrestling for Life. Nick, tell them all about it.
100%, folks. We got everything for your urban camos, your suburban camos, 100%, even your, suburban camos. I think I said that twice, but 100%. We got all your wrestling needs, and especially at this time of year, it's the holiday season, folks. So 100%. If you need some gifts given, if you need to dish out some gifts for your relatives and everything like that, 100%. We got all the wrestling merchandise you could possibly need, you could possibly want. We were even ahead of the game before even WWE went to Netflix. We got wrestling and chill, so absolutely 100%. You can be ready for January 6th. In one way or another.
one way or another. Let's go. Let's go. Well said, Nick. But the next match on the docket, one of 3 title matches on this card. But Liv will take on Iyo Sky on Saturday. And a lot of people kind of want Iyo to win it, but she's not going.
Oh, really? You don't think that the little standoff, the little belt tug between Iyo and Rhea wasn't a hint at something? Or could it have been a hint at a chase together? Or both of them chasing down Liv?
It definitely indicates that they both want it, that's for sure. You can't give the belt to Iyo. This has been Rhea's story. It'd be like Drew McIntyre wrestling Sami Zayn at Hell in the Cell after all that build with Punk. Like, that's what not having Rhea have that payoff with Liv. So I don't think this is going anywhere. But Iyo being involved is great.
Could they do Rhea versus Liv without the title, blood feud, something like that? Of it's a blow off? Because like if you still keep them trading the titles, does this go till Mania? Liv and Rhea?
And all the way to Mania?
That's what some people are expecting. I mean, you'd be bringing this at least in a Rumble, and then depending on how you go with the Rumble, potentially Rhea would have to win the Rumble to then get at Liv, and then you're carrying that sets it right up there for WrestleMania.
Right.
I personally kind of want them to kind of settle the Liv and Rhea feud. I feel like when it came to Liv and her revenge tour, it was like she did everything that she said she was going to do. She was going to take the Judgment Day. She was going to take the women's title. She was going to take Dominic Mysterio. And she did all that within a matter of months leading up to SummerSlam, right? After that, I think the feud has kind of felt flat. The bad blood match wasn't the best between those two. The spot with Raquel Rodriguez wasn't presented the best that night. And since then, they've just kind of really given all of the wins or all of the upper hands to Rhea Ripley. So at this point, I'm personally at the point where we can just kind of either pivot away from this, table it all together, or come back around to this later next year. That's kind of how I feel. I feel like Liv can benefit at this point from facing other challengers other than Rhea Ripley. Like tomorrow or Saturday is a start with Iyo Sky. I don't think Iyo Sky is winning, but you can give Liv that opportunity to face some other women in the division, and then maybe potentially move back to Rhea at closer to WrestleMania.
Anthony, I'm going to agree with you and disagree with you at the same time. I think Iyo wins this because I think we get towards the end of Rhea and Liv, and they just have a blood feud blow-off thing, some step match and everything.
Yeah, they're not
and we pivot away. Like, I don't want to see us go to Mania.
Yeah, I like the idea of going to the Netflix premiere. And then Rhea beats Liv at the Netflix premiere or Rumble.
Oh, does she just take the title off of her and that's it? I'm done. I've settled it. I move away, or do we just get then another challenge back?
Once Rhea Ripley gets her payoff, gets her revenge, she would move on. The idea that potentially you could do Ripley Iyo at Mania, I would be perfectly good with.
Fair enough, and I think you could set that up because then you'd have to do Liv Rhea at the Rumble as a singles match, not Rhea in the Rumble. It will be all interesting of how you want to do it and everything. You do those two. You do that singles match, just the singles match, not for the title on the Netflix debut between Liv and Rhea, and then you can set up them both in the Rumble or something. I don't want to. I want to find a way to pivot away from.
You got to get
Liv as champ,
right? That's the thing with this is. As much as, and Anthony said it as well, like it does feel like, okay, well, this has gone it's one of the longest and maybe, a nominee for one of the rivalries of 2024.
Oh, I think it is for sure with that. Yeah.
But it legitimately, like if it was to end now or be a non-title match, I think you're not getting that finality to it. We need the closure. And again, I mean, Liv's been good, but she's not going to hold that belt forever. It feels like Rhea's belt a little bit still. So for my money on this one, anyway, Liv is not giving that belt up anytime soon. They love what they're doing.
You have Liv win, and then you do Rhea gets a title shot on January 6th or the Netflix debut.
Maybe, yeah.
So that way it doesn't go to Rumble. I'd be okay with that. I still think I'm taking just Iyo to win this. I've been a fan of her, and maybe Rhea goes away, and I know it wouldn't pay off the story, but I like seeing Iyo as a new challenger into this title and everything outside of it just being Liv versus Rhea and Rhea versus Liv.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's mixed feelings about Liv and all of it, but yeah, I love Iyo. I'm such a big fan of Iyo. If she won the belt, it'd be great. It's kind of similar to what we're going to talk about in one of the other matches. They're both solid. I mean, again, I got no problem. I just think that, you know, I think internally they're still heading towards the finality of the other.
Well, I can see how you guys both pretty much picked Liv, and just for same reason but different reason too. So yeah. I can see very much where you guys are coming from. I guess I'm just picking with my heart of I just want change. I want change, folks.
Right. I think my thing is like I think I just kind of want change in a different way where Rhea is just not in the picture. And I know that's not really possible because they've been entwined, you know, this entire year, but I don't like the double revenge story. I think it was nice when Liv had her revenge. Like, this is what, because she legitimately had an issue with Rhea Ripley and taking her out. I really felt like that was like the solid story, and then her finishing it at SummerSlam was perfect. But I think then when Rhea came back with her revenge, I'm like, I don't want to see two revenge stories. I think the first one was perfect, and we could have just slid you on to something else because you're still going to be the biggest women's star in WWE. I'm not a fan of the two revenge stories. I think Liv's was solid, and the only thing Rhea Ripley wants is the women's world title, but Liv had this whole long agenda that I felt was perfect for what actually Rhea took away from her, and it was like some 9 months of her career. So I don't know.
Right.
Well, if we're gonna pivot Rhea away from going at the title, could a returning Becky at allegedly the Monday Night Raw on Netflix be that thing that pulls her away? Could a returning Charlotte be that thing that pulls her away? Because that's the thing, is you kind of need something that's I don't want to say on par, but feels close to as big as the title if it's not going to be the title when it comes to Rhea, I feel.
Yeah, I don't see a world where she doesn't get the title. And I think even you hit the nail on the head. You go into Netflix, the premiere of Netflix, Rhea's champ, Becky returns. That's your wrestle. That could, more than anything else, is a very big likelihood to be your name value on a WrestleMania. Rhea versus Becky. Good work.
You run it back after 40, after when we pretty much all knew Becky was all but done after the match.
Right. Yeah, potentially.
Now you're making me think that Becky would have to win that match then.
Maybe.
On the comeback, get that lick back.
Right. 70% of the chat are going for Liv, 30 going Iyo, 0% to nobody. That's interesting.
Hey, well, they feel like that at least someone has to win this match.
Yeah.
Right. Judgment Day lose all titles by Monday night. That's it, my guy. Right? I mean, we might be seeing the downward spiral of the Judgment Day. Finn's had issues. Maybe this becomes more of a Dom Liv without the Judgment Day vibe, and they keep Raquel, obviously. But, I mean, again, the tag titles could be lost. We're about to talk about Finn Balor's matchup at Saturday Night Main Event. Plus, Liv having troubles as well. I mean, Dale's got a theory.
Well, and with the transfer portal and everything, I think we saw Nick Aldis talking to Dom. I'm sure we've seen Adam Pearce talking to a few people. Could the Judgment Day be torn asunder?
Maybe.
Yeah.
If they're split across two different shows, you just have Judgment Day and then Street Trash. If you have, like NWO and Wolfpack.
Right. No, again, I mean, it might just be an absolute separation of the whole situation.
There you go.
Maybe it's run its course.
That felt like a little bit of a separation of the situation.
Right. But, ladies and gentlemen, the next match, another title match, as Gunther will defend his title up against Damian and Finn Balor. What's up with this one?
Well, clearly Finn's got to win this, right? Because he's getting the push, right?
Yeah.
As he's, been taking L's to get into here, got forced from just having a singles match to now a triple threat, has to put the titles on the line on Monday. But he's got this great push, right? Because he's the locker room leader. Gunther's winning this. I think Finn will look probably great in this. Finn probably takes the pinfall, to be honest.
I think
But Gunther wins.
Damien.
Yeah, he could take it too.
Yeah.
What he said.
I would be surprised if Gunther loses on Saturday. Like, I would be surprised if he loses. I don't know what I would do. I'm a big fan of Gunther, right? But Finn, Damien, if they take the title, I mean, that could extend their feud a little bit, right? Because they've been feuding for months, on and off, and you put the title in the mix. I think that'd be perfect. But Gunther wins. Gunther wins hands down.
What do you do with Gunther without the belt right now? Like, how if he loses, like he's instantly got to go back at it, and then now he's interjected into this. Like,
well,
you talked about Drew. Drew was probably the guy to go after this. Maybe Damien and Finn just fuck off. I think we're long enough in the video I can say that, and they have their own feud separate from the title.
I mean, I heard that stupid rumor of what's his name? He was at Bad Blood. Goldberg.
Oh no,
I don't want that at all.
Nobody
but I mean, if you want to put him in something, like they've had a face off, I don't know.
Well, you're stuck here. Like, I mean, I know you both said Gunther 100%. I don't know. I think you might have an opportunity here to do something fun. I don't think the other two titles are changing. If you want to make this show feel kind of cool, it'd be really interesting because for mob money, Finn could technically pin Damien, but where my plan blows up is he's not going to win the world title on Saturday and then drop the tag belts on Monday. I don't think so. I'm kind of torn on that. But with the triple threat, Gunther could lose the title and not get pinned and then start chasing. I kind of want something to happen in this regard. Oh, man.
Oh no, I think something's happening, and I think it's happening later. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But don't shake your head at me. You don't know what I'm about to say.
I'm shaking it at we want Gunther. I'm shaking it at we want Goldberg. Nobody wants Goldberg.
No, we don't. No, we've only said it twice. If we don't say it a third time, then he won't show up. Right. It's like Beetlejuice. If you say it 3 times, he shows up. But yeah, I think this has to be Gunther. Like you said, I didn't even think about Finn. If he's world champion, then drops the tag belts the next night, which we all assume they're dropping the belts, or is even still defending the tag belts. What is this, AEW? But yeah, and Priest, I think he's had a good run with the belts. I think he needs more time away from it for a bit and everything. This is kind of Gunther's moment to shine. Now, could you see the potential of Gunther goes to SmackDown, Cody goes to Raw?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason why Gunther may be, in fact, winning this one is if you're going to switch champions. Again, I mean, I don't know how much it matters, but maybe Gunther's the guy, right? Like, especially if you move Finn and keep Gunther. I mean, unless Gunther's going to go after Cody, then what?
I was going to say, who the fuck is taking that deal? Respectfully, I'm going to just say this respectfully. Who is taking, I'll give you Finn Balor for Gunther. Deal. Sign me up for that. Like, you lost out on that trade, buddy. All due respect. But right now, Gunther is the guy.
Yeah, and it would be Finn for Cody.
Oh. Either way, that's even a worse deal. I'll trade you my 4 first-round draft picks for your 7th-round draft pick because 7's more than 4 ones.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That man's going to take off his socks now.
What's next for Damien if he's not successful here?
Finn.
They just continue?
Just run that. Just keep that thing rolling. Maybe IC belts. Maybe Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Maybe Drew McIntyre.
Interesting.
Yeah. I could see that.
That's the thing. He kind of, you can see where he could land in all of those, but none of them feel like the one.
Well, and he's going to be an upper mid card guy for a while, like you said. if anybody takes this, I kind of want Finn to win. That's kind of my problem right now. It's with these matches that have been booked. I kind of want certain things to happen, but I don't think any of them will happen.
Will
So
happen.
If we didn't get Monday night, or what happened, what transpired on Monday earlier this week, I think it would have been much closer of whether Finn beats Gunther or Gunther beats Finn. Then now that Damien's here, it feels like that is a triple threat. Like we know that how this is at least going to somehow play out.
right. Gunther pins Finn, Damien stays strong.
Or even Gunther pins Damien, Finn stays strong. Because I would have really liked to have seen just Gunther versus Finn straight up and actually believe that Finn Balor could have won the world title. Because Finn Balor is still Finn Balor. He is still Prince Devateur. He's how Shinsuke was and everything like that. If they bring him back and reintroduce Finn, bring back the Demon, all of that selectively. But he's Finn Balor still, so let him do that. Let him have a great match with Gunther just one-on-one.
Yeah, I do prefer the singles match. I was actually looking forward to the singles match, and I might have leaned heavy towards Finn Balor winning because it was straight up a singles match. Damian Priest being added in is not a bad decision, but I was really looking forward more to that singles match between Finn and Gunther. And like you said, Finn is still Finn. He can still go. He's I mean, he should have been 2 or 3 time champion by now, but it just didn't go his way under the VKM era. So I don't know. I'm still sticking to my Gunther guns here.
Gunther guns. Hashtag that. Let's go.
Right. Well, it's crazy how just one dislocated shoulder and everything from a buckle bomb really changed Finn's whole trajectory.
Right.
Thank you, Seth. You now created 2 monsters. You created the leader of the Judgment Day and Finn Balor and the tribal chief, the OTC Roman Reigns. You just fucking everyone's life up.
And I think ultimately he has he's been good. They give him more mic time. He's been good. He feels like Prince Devitt, that attitude, that swag he once had. It feels like it's come back in a big way. So I think, again, wrestling's kind of in this, or at least this show is in this funny place where we're all kind of wanting some change. We all want kind of some of these wrestlers that have kind of come into their own. We kind of all want them rewarded, like Iyo, Finn, Chelsea. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah. But I think we're in an era to where we actually believe that could happen.
Yeah.
Like it was under he who shall not be named, the Voldemort era there of you could still want it and hope against hope, but you knew there ain't a snowball's chance in Hades that was actually going to happen. Yeah. Now they could completely pull something out of their ass and everything and surprise us. So even we could feel 100% confident and be completely wrong and not be disappointed.
Yeah. No, 100%. But 83% of the chatter is taking Gunther, and the other gentleman at 8% of the vote. So heavy favorite in Gunther. But
it's crazy that it's split between Priest and Finn, though.
Well, they got 8% each. I mean, again, I think that for the same reasons, like because it doesn't matter. It's like either like something happens with Judgment Day and Damien, and Finn eats the pin, or Damien and Finn fuck around, or he hits him with a chair and Damien. It doesn't matter. One of them's going to eat it.
Right.
We don't know who, but we do know who's going to make the.
We know the outcome. We just don't know who's getting shot. What?
Right.
All right, gentlemen. The main event. Nice and quick on this one. Main event. Been bubbling for quite a while. A lot of people wanted it at Survivor Series. KO, the way they sold it to us was he got the pick, and he picked Saturday Night Main Event. So the title's on the line. KO and Cody.
And well, we do have. Sorry, I'm going to just mention real quick. We do have to mention the alleged tease of the winged belt. I don't know. I was thinking one winged angel, but the winged eagle belt and everything that might have been gifted to one Cody James Cuthbert Rhodes to at least show up on Saturday Night Main Event. Of a boyhood dream has come true if he gets to show up with the winged eagle belt.
Yeah, I couldn't help but point out, like, that tease video was great. And, like, you see, like, the WWE belts, Crown Jewel, this one, come in these big cases. and then AEW's champ running around with like a little homemade suitcase. Like you're like, where's this Casey belt?
Hey, it's an upgrade from the red bag that CM Punk had. Okay, we've gone from Santa's satchel to at least a briefcase.
There you go.
All right.
What do you got on this one, Anthony?
I feel like this is the match where you pull the big surprise.
Yes.
I'm going to go and say my prediction, Kevin Owens. This is the moment when you do the big surprise. Kevin Owens beats Cody Rhodes and shocks the world.
I'm doing the Jack Nicholson, and you listen, you are Kevin Owens, so you can give your last opinion on this last there, KJ. But no, I was doing the Jack Nicholson. Yes, smile the whole time Anthony was talking, because 100%. That's part of why I brought up the one wing, the winged eagle belt and everything like that. Because we get Cody to have the boyhood dream taken from him and everything. We've needed something for a while to give a fuck about when it comes to Cody and everything, and to actually feel believable. And he's not goddamn Homelander. Make him more Captain America, where he feels like he will be beat, to where he feels like he actually has a challenge and everything. And Kevin Owens 100% is that guy. And everything that they've done with him has been great. From the car interview, I saw the stuff going around of the 3 things that he hates about Cody Rhodes. Of he didn't stitch the QB on his own, tracksuit and everything like that, because he's the quarterback of this generation. No one calls him that. This man drives around in a tour bus and then gives me grief over having a Lambo. And he hates American parents for getting platinum blonde dyeing their children's hair so they can look like Cody Rhodes and everything. This man has gone just chef's kiss, nuclear level heel.
Oh, it's been outstanding. He's been gaslighting everybody, and it's fun, and there's truth into what he says. Like, there are people out there, when you hear Kevin Owens promo, that are like, fuck yeah. Like, they're in. Like, they're nodding, and they're like, yeah, screw Cody Rhodes. I think this would be a fucking wicked move to do it, even if it is from now till you do the rematch at Netflix or Rumble, and Cody finds a way to get it back. I'd be okay. I don't care. I understand where Cody is on this whole roster and what he means to this roster. But, man, could KO just get a run? Give him the belt. We talk about people that have put in work and earned it. He's been beat up by everybody.
Oh, I think he absolutely, he gets that little just nod, even if it's a little short nod and everything. If it makes sense with him, and then you can spin it off with the Sami thing, because he even mentioned about, Sami Zayn, we'll address that when we need to. And like I said, Cody needs to feel that little scuff on the chin and everything. He's come across a little too Superman, a little too polished, a little too Super Cena and everything. Now, granted, it'd be crazy if we see do show up. But yeah, Cody needs something that you can buy into him a little bit of. You feel some more emotion for him and everything. You haven't felt that since 40, really. It's all just been what we expect. He's got that Cena vibe, a little bit of, you're the company guy. We get it. You're gonna win.
And I think that's where my love-hate relationship with Cody Rhodes is, because I like Cody Rhodes, but he's given Cena vibes, and I've said my opinions about John Cena on this channel multiple times. But and that's where my disconnect is, and maybe this is where you see a little emotion, you see a little, take back a little bit if Kevin Owens wins. And like you said, KJ, it doesn't have to be a long Kevin Owens reign. We can do the whole Jey Uso won the title, 3 weeks later he lost it. We can do that with the world title. It's possible. So I'm all for Kevin Owens winning on Saturday.
I'll lose my mind. I'll pop. It'll be insane if KO pulls this off. But I mean, this on the screen from Damian is my big fear that this will not happen. It's Randy Orton's return and takes out KO.
But I wonder, though, I still wonder where we're going to go with Randy, because I feel that eventually at some point we're going to Cody, Randy for the title, or at least in some capacity. That match is going to happen. And I feel like that's going to be a heel Randy going into it. So does Randy see the light and they just both hate Cody or something like that? I don't know. I just really, if there isn't a surprise, and this would be the best surprise that they could pull off, I think, on this show, of if there isn't a surprise, everybody that wins out, just like you would expect, is going to win out. Does this show feel as special? Like, I think this being the first Saturday Night Main Event back, and you're making such a big deal about it, you need at least some sort of big surprise. And why not do this one? Why not do the one that no one expects?
Right. Do something. I don't disagree.
Right.
I don't know. I guess for me, I don't know if it'd be a big letdown, because I think even if you have the clear cut winners at the end of the night, I still feel like each match is going to deliver in their own special way, and I feel like that might be the takeaway from Saturday Night Main Event, is how the match is delivered. And I know we're in a time where, like, we want surprises, but we don't get the surprises.
Mhm.
And sometimes, for at least for me, like the quality of the show, the matches might outweigh the surprises for me. Like, if, for instance, Bad Blood, like The Rock showing up was a big surprise, but we didn't get a follow-up after.
Yep.
So now it felt like Bad Blood wasn't really that great of a show. So I'm that's kind of where I am with the surprises right now in WWE.
Yeah, I think Triple H has done a really good job of, one, you're not guaranteed a surprise, and you're not guaranteed anything. Like, you will be patient, and we know you might jump out on social media and whine and cry, but everyone's going to show up on Monday. Everyone's going to show up on Friday. We keep selling out buildings. We're doing okay. So you might hate some of our decisions, but you're going to come back and you're going to keep going. So, I mean, we just saw it with Crown Jewel. You go through a pretty good card, but nothing changes. Nothing really shifts. I just want to see a little bit of a shakeup in any way, shape, or form. I like chaos. Now, they could be kind of cruising into 2025 and just say status quo to the end of the calendar. But yeah, I think the expectation of, like, we need that surprise or we need a title change, to me, that's not a fair assessment of the overall show.
I mean, granted, we just had Survivor Series that didn't have any surprises, even though we expected some, but was still a great show. But I think the stories had been built up enough and everything to where it made it work. Of this feels like if we don't get a thing, it could just be a really good, like, Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown a little bit. So that's the thing, is that's what I worry about. And I think, especially with it being a big thing and being the first one, I'm not saying they'll all have to have a huge moment or anything, but I think the first inaugural one back and everything kind of maybe need to make a bit of a splash. And going into 2025 and everything, of Cody Rhodes isn't champion, I think is a hell of a captivating way to go into the new era in 2025 of Monday Night Raw on Netflix, this here, that there, and everything to kick off the year.
Yeah. Now, there's a theory in the chat that's come up a couple times, and it is one of the ones that's been out there. The Rock shows up and actually costs Cody the title. KO gets the dub. You set up The Rock and Cody for a little bit, and then eventually Cody's got to work back around to his title and, finish the chapter.
Oh, no, I'm torn with this, because then what? Does he go after Dwayne and Cody fight for the People's Championship?
Yeah, there you go.
No, I feel like we're going to get Cody versus Dwayne at some point. Could we get it at Rumble for the title? But that's the thing, is then it's for the title. It's for the world title, not the people's title. And then if Dwayne can do that, then he's clearly got to be able to do WrestleMania and everything, which goes against all the other reports of people saying he can't do that. So be interesting. I think if we get Dwayne to show up on this, he shows up after Cody wins. I don't think he'd show up and cost Cody. I'll say that.
Yeah, it makes sense. I thought he was going to show up at War Games.
We all think he's going to show up. Apparently, none of us are Moana. He doesn't want to show up. I've been staring at the water.
I would be happy KO versus Punk for the title at Mania. Cody versus Rock doesn't need a title. I mean, again, with this whole transfer thing, I would be completely happy with a KO Punk program. That is promo fire, napalm.
I think, well, it'd be great, but I have a question, and I know this is off topic from Saturday Night Main Event, but with the idea of allegedly Seth versus Punk at no, that's been rumored to be the debut episode of Monday Night Raw.
Oh, yes.
Could we get Punk versus Roman at WrestleMania if we're not going to get Dwayne? And especially because Punk very much alluded to the favor from Heyman was main event of WrestleMania. And if you're going to main event WrestleMania in 2025, you're doing it with either Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Not a bad.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Before Roman's long reign as champion, AJ Styles in 2017 is the only reign longer than the current Cody reign. There you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we got 3 title matches. If you have one of these belts change, it is going to make the show feel that much more special. But I do think a part of it is, somebody said it in the chat, it's just it's like an overblown Raw. Like it's not quite a pay-per-view. It's somewhere in between. But I think, Nick, you got a good point about making an imprint. Like, you let people know you don't miss Saturday Night Main Event because, look, the first one we ever did, title change.
Absolutely. They don't all have to be bangers. You don't have to hit home runs every single time. But as long as you at least maintain a decent batting average, you do pretty well. And especially, though, if you walk up to the plate and your first swing at the fucking plate is a home run, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah. But beyond that, I mean, we're looking at 60% for Cody in the chat, 35%, and then 4 or 5% picked nobody. So I don't think it's going to be a nobody match, but I do think Cody's going to hold on to this title as much as I don't want it to happen.
You of all people. This whole time I was like, this man, we've just been preaching to the choir. Right. I thought we were telling calling a kettle black, whatever the fuck that fucking analogy is. With this man, how much you get compared to looking like Kevin Owens and everything. You're Canadian brethren. You're doppelganger. You're one letter away. You're a couple letters down the alphabet from him and everything.
True. I do think Randy screws KO at Saturday Night Main Event. I just don't see them taking the belt off Cody now. I want it. If we were voting on just what we think or what we would like, Iyo wins the belt, Finn wins the belt, KO wins the belt. But I know we're not going to get all of that. Again, in a great world, KO wins this, but I don't see Cody dropping it.
I'll take being wrong on every other prediction if Kevin Owens wins this match.
100%.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with Kevin Owens. I really want him to win this.
100%. I mean, it's hard to go against him, right? Like, at the end of the day, he's been so good. Let's do it. Let's cause chaos.
Well, to me, it's not even just it's cause chaos, and I'll say this respectfully, it's not even just because of how great KO's been. It also, Cody needs this just as well as Kevin does. Cody needs something, I think, to make him feel like connected to the audience again and everything like that. There's been that general disconnect of, you've seen a lot of people say, this, that, and the other of, Cody's reign's been boring, he feels very politician, very polished. So I think if you put him back on the back foot and make him chase again, you build that fire back in that stove there.
A little adversity wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
In the road.
Even Superman needs to get a scratch every now and then. A scratch.
Yeah, he's been smooth sailing for quite a while. I think shake the cage. But that's it. I mean, overall, I think we're all excited for main event. I think the chat is. We'll find out tomorrow while we're here live what's going to happen with the U.S. title picture in the women's division. It shall be interesting. But yeah, I mean, we're looking forward to this one, as we said. All the vibes, all the feels. I know we're getting Jesse. We might get Teddy. Any other guesses or?
Well, I saw someone in the chat say Coco Beware, my favorite Hall of Famer next to Stacey Keebler.
I know how
And well, no, Thunderbolt Ross is officially my favorite WWE Hall of Famer because of that fucking speech. But and then I guess also Jimmy Hart's going to be there, which if Jimmy's there, I mean, Hogan's not too far behind.
I was just about to say Hogan, unfortunately.
I don't want to see him.
Yeah, I think Hogan can sell off into the sunset and just stay wherever the fuck he's due.
Right.
We're gonna run it back one more time. Me and you, Terry. You turned me into Vince and everything. Told him I was trying to make a union. So we're gonna run this one more time. And because think about it, Jesse's gonna be there. He might shoot on fucking Hogan. Right.
That's what I want to see, a shoot breakout between Jesse and Hogan.
I'm waiting for the commentary of Jesse's every now and then should have just break out and remember when I was in the Gulf of Tongan.
But Anthony, you're gonna have to do your whole outro in the Jesse voice. Anthony, any
God,
thoughts on this one?
No final thoughts other than I'm really excited for the return of this. I don't know if they're doing this quarterly or monthly, but right now it seems monthly because it's back-to-back December and January. But yeah, I'm excited. I think each match on here has its own unique flair, and I think each match will bring its own unique flair. So I'm excited for Saturday.
Absolutely. But folks, like Anthony said, now, TNA is tomorrow. I know we're not diving all the way into it tonight, but TNA is tomorrow. We will be live for SmackDown. Saturday main event, we go live at 7:30. We got more coming your way, a whole bunch of content. We just dropped a new interview. Go check that out. Follow all our socials and continue coming back, folks. Be a friend, tell a friend. Jesse?
Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. And I was once the governor of Minnesota, but our shit is authentic. When you talked about that wrestling, but that full life, I couldn't do it the whole time. It slipped out on me. Pause.
Come back tomorrow, folks. We'll see you on the flip side. Good night.